Temperatures are soaring across San Diego County. The record's broken today, and how long the heat will last.
More local schools are preparing to reopen despite the pandemic. The special access they'll have when it comes to coronavirus testing.
And the Padres drop Game 1 in their first playoff game. The major hurdles the team is trying to overcome.
This special edition of ABC 10 News starts now.
It wasn't the start the Padres were hoping for in their first playoff appearance in 14 years. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of ABC 10 News.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The Padres lost Game 1 to the Cardinals earlier this afternoon. Our ABC 10 News Sports Director Ben Higgins was at Petco Park. He joins us now live from home. Ben, this was downhill from the very beginning, wasn't it?
Hi, Stephen Kim. It sure was. With his top two pitching options out of commission due to injury, Padres manager Jay Stingler crossed his fingers and turned to the uneven Chris Paddock for a Game 1 start against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Just three batters into the game, the decision backfired as Paul Goldschmidt launched one high to left field off Paddock and just over the wall for a two-run homer, part of a four-run inning off Paddock. Padres responded with a pair of sacrifice flies, but the Cardinals knocked Paddock out of the game in the third with three straight hits, scoring two more runs to take a 6-2 lead. In the bottom of the third, the Padres got one back on a two-out RBI single by former Cardinal Tommy Pham. Fernando Tatis Jr. scoring his second run. It was a 6-4 game in the sixth. Padres had Tatis at the plate as the go-ahead run, but Giovanni Gallegos gets him swinging. Padres were also on the wrong end of some good defense. Down to their final out, Will Myers drives one to center, and Harrison Bader leaps at the wall to make the catch. A rough playoff debut for Chris Paddock as the Padres are quickly pushed to the brink of elimination in a 7-4 loss.
I don't like to use the word failure because, it doesn't matter how many times you get punched in the face, it's how many times you're going to get back up.
I mean, it's win or go home. It's one of those things, and everybody's got to bring their A game, and everybody's going to be picking each other up. It's just one of those things that, everybody's going to be locked in.
Yeah, the Padres will hand the ball to Zach Davies in Game 2 of the series as they try to keep their season alive tomorrow afternoon. I'm Ben Higgins, ABC 10 News.
All right, Ben, thank you. Even though fans are not allowed in the stands, some had a prime spot to watch today's game. Our ABC 10 News reporter Steve Smith explains the traditional roar of the crowd sounded a little different.
No fans inside Petco Park to watch the Padres' first playoff game in 14 years, but that doesn't seem to bother Chip Messenger, who has the perfect view from his apartment balcony.
I'll tell you what, I love it being here. I mean, besides the concerts and the monster trucks and all that, during baseball season's the best. Winning baseball, which none of us have seen in a long time. So it's amazing. The building wasn't even here the last time the Padres were in the playoffs.
Chip says he's a huge Padres fan, and although he's about 50 yards from the field, he makes sure his voice is always heard.
It's going to get loud. Plus, with all the other balconies out here, I anticipate us actually having a home field advantage for once. Woo-hoo! I have a megaphone. They can hear me as loud as I need to with the megaphone.
Chip normally watches about 80% of Padre home games. While most seasons have been pretty tough, he says there's nothing better than playoff baseball.
Disappointing we can't be in the stadium, but the energy level, they know we're here. They can hear us. We've got horns and flags and whistles and bells, so the people who can see into the stadium are definitely supporting the team.
Steve Smith, ABC 10 News.
The chip needs to get louder. Today, Major League Baseball announced that fans will be allowed to attend games during the National League Championship Series and the World Series. Those will be held at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. More than 11,000 tickets will be sold for those games. The NLCS starts October the 12th with the World Series beginning October the 20th. No details were announced about the ALCS, which will be held at Petco Park.
Turning now to our weather. We had record-breaking heat in many parts of San Diego County. ABC 10 News meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the numbers. Angelica?
Hi, Kim. That's right. We had records all over the county, from the coast to inland, all the way back into our mountains. So here is what we experienced today in San Diego. We made it to 96 degrees, shattering the record of 91. In Ramona, we made it to 105, breaking the record of 102. In Campo, 101, breaking the record of 99 degrees. And over in La Mesa, 103, breaking the record of 100. We also made it to 95 degrees in Oceanside. In Vista, 102 degrees today, the record was 100. So clearly it was a record-breaking day for the entire county. Our temperatures right now are dropping to the upper 70s in Poway, so not much of a cool down, still around 83 degrees in La Jolla. And really the numbers are all over the place at this hour, with 80s in Alpine and San Diego, 74 here in Oceanside, so there's a little bit of variety. But what is not changing is the fact that it's so dry, and all the dryness coupled with the excessive heat expected for tomorrow will keep the elevated fire danger through the rest of the week. Of course, in our 7-day forecast, I'll show you what it's going to be like for the next couple of days, and also our chance at breaking records tomorrow.
A brush fire that forced some evacuations on Camp Pendleton to be holding steady tonight. It broke out on the west side of Duluth Road, burning about 25 acres. It's now 65% contained. Evacuation orders have since been lifted. And taking no chances with today's triple-digit heat, firefighters quickly knocked down a brush fire near Alpine. It broke out along Browns Road and Viejas Grade Road. Sky 10 was overhead. You can see the smoke and the fire retardant that stopped the flames. There were no reports of any injuries or damages. Record temperatures sent many San Diegans to the beach to cool off today. We spoke to San Diego lifeguard Sergeant Lonnie Stevens, who said the crowds normally dissipate after Labor Day, but that has not happened this year.
Throughout this heat, which has been ongoing for quite some time, yes, we have had citizens who have had some heat-related illness.
Stevens is urging everyone to drink plenty of water, wear sunscreen, and stay in the shade when possible. A cluster of small earthquakes hit desert communities near the Salton Sea this afternoon. The quakes were centered near Westmoreland in the Imperial Valley. The USGS recorded at least 75 or more quakes with a magnitude of 2.5 or greater. They all started about 4 o'clock. The largest of them measured 4.9.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus in San Diego County. 195 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to just over 47,000. And there were 2 new deaths, bringing that total to 783. The county is pledging to make COVID-19 testing easily accessible for K-12 school personnel. Meanwhile, UC San Diego says it is doing its part to test all on-campus students. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala has the latest update.
Our schools are trying to reopen safely in a responsible way.
With some K-12 schools back to in-person learning, the county, working with the Office of Education, will open 4 new COVID-19 testing locations dedicated to testing school personnel. The first 2 will open in Chula Vista and San Diego, then Del Mar and El Cajon in the coming days.
We're going to be offering these free PCR diagnostic tests.
Students and staff can also get tested at the county's 41 other sites. When it comes to higher education, this is a look at UC San Diego Wednesday. Students on campus were seen following the public health orders. More than 5,000 UCSD students moved into campus housing over a 10-day period. All were tested for COVID-19. A spokesperson for the university says only 10 of those students tested positive, and isolation housing is provided by the school.
I think, again, they have a very strong plan in place at UCSD for their students.
This dashboard on the university's website is updated to show how many people have tested positive off and on campus so far. Students on campus will have to be tested for COVID-19 twice a month through the school year. If there is an outbreak like we've seen at San Diego State, the public is then notified when the county reports its total number of cases. With more students across the board returning to schools, the county stresses the importance of continuing to follow health guidelines like wearing facial coverings, social distancing, and avoiding large gatherings to keep us from slipping back into the purple tier. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
New coronavirus cases in the U.S. continue to rise as medical experts report an increase in positivity among children. A new study from the American Academy of Pediatrics says that coronavirus infections among children have gone up from 2 to 10% nationwide over the last 5 months. 12-year-old Elizabeth McNew from Atlantic Beach, Florida, died after a 10-day battle with the virus.
Elizabeth came to me and said, "I'm not breathing right, Mommy."
At least 14 states do report an increase in deaths, and 31 states are seeing a rise in cases. New York City's positivity rate is above 3% for the first time since June. This as the city's elementary schools just reopened. Officials are now ready to shut them back down again if necessary. As for a timeline for a vaccine, Dr. Anthony Fauci says he is cautiously optimistic that an effective vaccine could be available by November or December.
Leaving this loophole, running wild is an unacceptable situation.
Governor Gavin Newsom has vetoed a bill written to shore up a loophole ABC 10 News discovered. It allowed the alleged Poway synagogue shooter to buy his gun despite being underage. ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains the surprising reason the governor turned the legislation away.
Suspected Poway synagogue shooter John Earnest picked up the assault weapon from San Diego Guns on April 26, 2019, and allegedly carried out the deadly attack the next day. At 19, Earnest was too young to buy the gun under state law, which set the minimum age to 21. There were exceptions, however, for those over 18 who are military, law enforcement, or had a valid state-issued hunting license. Ernest, a nursing student, presented a hunting license that was not set to become valid until July 1st, 2019, 2 months after the attack, a story ABC 10 News broke in August 2019.
And John, this creates so many questions.
And the biggest one is, again, how did he get the gun?
We dug deeper and learned that the State Justice Department does not verify hunting licenses as part of its background check. In other words, if the gun shop accepts an invalid license and everything else checks out, the sale goes through. Enter State Senator Anthony Portantino, whose law created the exemption. After our reporting, he introduced a bill to require the Justice Department to make those checks.
That is a glaring loophole that needs to be corrected. When someone applies for a weapon purchase, the system should verify that the license is in order.
The bill passed the state legislature, but Governor Newsom vetoed it Tuesday, saying it would take 30 months to create the information system, potentially disrupting other firearms-related projects brought by 7 other bills. Portantino tells me this was the first time he'd actually heard that concern, and he says he's not done pushing for this. He'll either try to get this approved through next year's budget or via a bill in the 2021 session. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
A worker at the gun shop declined to comment, and the victims that we reached out to today declined to comment due to their pending litigation.